let's talk about the books that got me back into reading, because there are quite a few, and honestly, if it weren't for these books, I don't know if I would be reading as much as I do right now. First and foremost, we love when school forces you to read a book and it ends up actually being good. Brave New World was one of those for me. I feel like I just love a dystopian book. It's almost inevitable that if you hand me a dystopian book, I'm going to end up loving it. They just make me think more than any other book really does, and I like that I read them and question everything. Next, we've got They Both Die at the End. I think this is one of those books that really changed how I read, and I started going feral. I just remember really loving this book, and just the journey. It's not about the ending, honestly. The entire journey through this book was just so moving, and I remember crying. The next one, I'm pretty sure I read at the very same time. Like, I think I read it directly after or before They Both Die at the End, and that is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I love this book so much. I rated it 5 stars. I think it holds up. I've seen the show. Both amazing. I know so many people complain about the fact that there aren't quotation marks in this book. I am telling you, I got past that so fast. I love the way Sally Rooney writes. By far one of my favorite authors. This is another one of those books that just kind of threw me into the world of reading, and I have not left since. Next one, and this is a little bit random, a little bit bizarre, still don't know what possessed me, In the Heart of the Sea. I actually think I read this around the same time as when the movie came out, so it's probably why I read it, but if I was to have read it now, I think I would have hated it. I remember it being so boring, but at the same time, I have so much love for this book and so much nostalgia. I just remember those times, remember reading this as a teenager, and I just think back on it really fondly. Of course, The Day of the Triffids. I think this is probably the first book that I actually read voluntarily outside of school, because my dad told me that it was probably a good one to start with. Again, dystopian, sci-fi, kind of obviously I was going to love it. Now, some of the stuff in this book is obviously outdated. It's a classic. It was written quite some time ago, but I still feel like it's so interesting to me to read books that were written quite some time ago and just see like how the author was thinking at that time. Another one, and a little bit short, which is probably why I loved it, The Giver. I seem to have a pattern here where when I was just getting started with reading, I was reading a lot of books that were based on shows and movies I was watching. I just remember loving this entire series. I read the whole thing. I think there was like 4 books or something. And finally, Where the Crawdads Sing. I read this at a very similar time to when I read Normal People, I'm pretty sure. Don't know how I would feel about these books now, having read hundreds of books since I've read these, but I just have a lot of love for them. Without them, I would not be reading right now. I'll leave it there, because honestly, there are so many I read as a teenager that kind of shaped how I read today, but these are the ones that pretty much got the ball rolling.